Hi, I'm Cliff, and this is my garage. And today, this thing is finally finished. Hey, welcome back to the garage. And if this is your first time joining me, thanks for dropping by. So, I have been working on installing this Atlas lift for probably about a month now. Yeah, about a month. And if you've been following along on this series, you know that I have run into so many troubles and headaches. Now, part of the issue was that our business has just gone really well the last few weeks, and I've been kept pretty busy running that. And so I haven't had a whole lot of time to devote to installing the lift. But another major issue is that I've run into so many problems, and you've seen those documented in previous episodes. Well, I spent about the last week fighting with trying to get this thing to work because, you guessed it, another problem with the lift. And once again, it was the directions. Now, as you saw in the last episode, the issue I was having was a physical problem with the fact that the contactor, the switch that controls everything really, it was in such a tiny little box up there that I just physically couldn't maneuver in there and get it wired up. So I took the time to install another larger box, and I routed the wires for the button and the motor down through this flexible conduit into the box and put everything together. Well, I was looking at the directions, and I was taking a look at how they were telling me to wire it, and I'm thinking, something here just doesn't seem right. So what I did is I started mapping out where they were telling me to run the wire. And I came to the conclusion that A, there was a problem in the directions, or B, I didn't understand how electricity works. So I started taking a closer look at it, and I finally determined that indeed the directions once again were wrong. And so let me just go through this real quick. If you're not familiar with contactors or relays, they are essentially magnetic switches. And what happens is you have electricity coming into the contactor. You have your two power wires that are coming in. In this case, it's 220, so you have two hot lines and a ground line. The ground line's not really relevant to this discussion. Well, we've got two hot lines, and the way you make things happen is that you take whatever you want, a motor, a light, something, and you connect it so that electricity flows from one hot line into the other hot line, and the flow of electricity makes something happen, makes a motor spin, makes a light light up, whatever it is. Well, the problem is that when you want to switch that load, you don't usually want to run a high amperage through a switch. That means you have to use a really heavy-duty switch, a really expensive switch, and so you try to avoid doing that. It also gives you the opportunity to, like when I built my contactor-based control for my dust collection system, I used a low voltage system. Rather than running 110 volt electricity all over the shop through switches, I used 12 volt direct current instead, a lot safer. So there's a variety of reasons for doing it, but mainly you want to control this power going to something without routing that power directly through your switch. And essentially what a contactor is it's a magnetic switch. You push a button that closes a circuit and activates an electromagnet inside the contact. Well, that electromagnet pulls a switch closed and allows the current to flow from your incoming power out to whatever it is you're trying to control. In this case, the motor. So we've got two basic circuits happening here. One is the power coming in to the motor through a switch and then back out to the other line. The other circuit is the control circuit, where you have power coming, in this case, again, from the incoming power line, and then it goes through the magnetic, the electromagnet, up into the control switch you push to make that lift go. That circuit then goes up into the top, into the safety switch or the limit switch, so that if it gets too high, it will break the circuit, making the lift stop, and then back down through the contactor and into the other power line. Well, the way that they had me wiring, the directions that came with the lift, essentially the control circuit went from, let's say, the black power line through the safety switch, through the control switch, and back to the black wire again. Okay, that's not a circuit. It could never work unless electricity doesn't work the way I think it is. So I finally said, okay, I think the way this is actually supposed to work is that this other wire is supposed to go in this other spot, and sure enough, that was it. That made the motor fire up and everything started working. So once again, I'm spent a lot of time spinning my wheels because the directions for the lift were simply wrong. Another thing that took a little while was going in here and fixing this box. If you'll recall last time, in trying to use this box, I bent it all out of shape. So I took quite a while with a ball peen hammer and some wood and got it straightened out so the front with the button would go back on it, and also put in a couple of plugs to fill in the hole so that I just didn't have a gaping hole in the side. Not a big deal, but it looks a whole lot better to me. Okay guys, moment of truth. First time trying to lift up a car. I've got my Porsche Cayman on here. Pay no attention to the dirt. It's been very rainy and muddy the last few days, and I don't have a problem with driving my Cayman in the mud. So, even though I didn't spend a whole lot of money on this car because it was so ugly when I bought it, I sure don't want to drop my Cayman. I love this car. Okay, so, power on. Oh boy, here we go. Oh, look at that. Okay, the lock didn't scare the crap out of me this time. Oh, shoot. Let me put this back down some. Oh, that goes down a whole lot faster, doesn't it? Basically, a Porsche Cayman is perfectly balanced front to rear. And so I put the center of the, I put it in the middle. So the middle of the car is basically a line, but you should lift up a car a little bit and then rock it. Make sure you're balanced. Okay, that looks real good. Okay, let's go back to our lift. There you can see how muddy and dirty the tires are. Wow, the car looks really weird from this angle. Okay, I'm keeping an eye on the roof because I don't have the safety bar completely rigged up yet, so I don't want to run into the ceiling. But, wow, this is awesome. Okay, so now lower it onto, now it's on the safety latches, and wow. Okay, I'm a little nervous about walking under there. This is so cool being able to see it like this. Ha! Guys, this is awesome. I love this. You know, to be honest, with all the problems and cheapness I've seen at certain points in working with this lift, I'm kind of scared to walk under the car. Okay. Down. And, all right. I'm going to walk under here. Hopefully I'm not going to make YouTube history here. Okay. I am standing under the car. This is so cool. I can see. Yeah. I see the engine so clearly. Oh, this is going to make changing the oil a breeze. What's that? Huh. See the exhaust systems. Wow, they're tiny. It's just so much smaller than I thought they'd be. The catalytic converters and such. That's the oxygen sensors. Yeah. Awesome. It's a little disorienting being up under here, to be honest. Making sure I did get these lift in the right positions. Okay, this is so cool. Oh yeah. These side skirts are getting kind of bent a little bit. Oh, okay, I think they're popping loose. That's okay, because, you know, if you've been watching this channel, you know that I'm getting rid of these things. Okay, yeah, just some pieces of, okay, yeah, that's just some pieces of, some screws holding it in place. All right, okay, that's enough for now. Pick it up just a hair, release, and push in the light. You have to hold the lock release. It's coming down nice and fast now that it's actually got a load versus that incredibly slow creeping it was doing when it was just the weight of the arms. Okay, and she's back on the ground. Okay, I'm psyched. I mean, this is going to be so cool. Like I said, I'm a little nervous walking under there because I honestly, I don't really trust this thing. I don't know. Well, we'll see what happens. Okay, so it looks like this phase of the project is complete. All that's left to do now is to go up and put in the insulation and finish off the well where the lift pokes up into, and I'll be done, and I can get back to actually doing things like, you know, fixing my ugly Porsche Cayman. So, as always, please go down there, find that thumbs up button, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and once you've done that, most important, go find that bell icon, click on it. That way you'll get notified every time I post new content or lifting up cars or whatever the heck I'm up to here in Cliff's Garage. I'll see you next time.